Hello and welcome along to another episode and another season from this FM22 story, The Head Coach with me, Daniel. It's part 95 today and we have got a big summer transfer special to get through as we've had blockbuster signings, but also some surprise and disappointment, which we're going to get to in a moment. We then face City, our closest rivals last season in a Community Shield, and I'm just hopeful, unlike last year, someone will compete with us from the very start. So if you're looking forward to seeing what's been going on this summer, whether John Murtaugh's replaced Bruno Fernandes and what on earth else has been going on behind the scenes, then please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. We had a big episode in our Hemel save yesterday and we'll be finishing that season off tomorrow, so do make sure you come and join that one. There's links in the eye above to the podcast channel and the Twitch channel for regular live streams. Thank you for your support with both of those, and of course you can also support the show as a channel member down below by clicking the join button if you wish. But thank you as always for your incredible support as we are back for a new season with interesting results in the transfer window. Of course, this save a Director of Football challenge as well as a journeyman, so we don't have a say in what goes on. But what we did know when we left you last time at the end of the season is that after winning a domestic treble, our captain and our talisman, Bruno Fernandes, was retiring. We also had a few aging players in the squad, and I don't know whether things have improved or not. I'll let you be the judge. As we head over to the transfer screen, I'm interested to see what you think of this, because I don't really know what to make of it. So first things first, I've got to mention one of the potential deals, which is Stephen Duffy. Now, he came back from a loan at the end of last season, and I actually promoted him to the first team. I thought he looked really good. 2.5-star ability. My thought was, could he come in? Could we push Jalocca forward? But no, we got an offer. He was unhappy it was rejected, and the Director of Football agreed to sell him for 10 million. So that's another one who looks like he's on his bike. But the ones that have already been done might be even stranger. So, nothing notable on the outs at the end of last season. There were, however, 2 early ins in the window. One of them was Gareth Smith, who's just a youngster from QPR. I'm guessing to bolster the 23 squad again, maybe to try and make a profit on, but never going to be a first team player. The other one, however, replaced another one of those leaving the club. We knew Jeremy Frimpong was going at the end of his contract in his 30s. And it's a very similar approach from John Murtaugh in the replacement. A bit like Xavier Benjamin last year. Slightly younger player from a lesser reputation club within the English game. And an English player. 13.5 million for Mickey Lovick. He's not an international. Did play a few times for the 21s. And he's not a world-class player, but he's a solid right back. And we're looking behind Gaia, who is our first choice. And we look at this lad and say, is he solid enough to play 5 or 6 Premier League games and some cup ties? Of course he is. He's a very good signing for a decent amount of money, and he's on a relatively modest wage. So as much as it's not a wow signing, I thought it was a pretty good one for the value. So at 25, I'm sure he'll improve a little bit more, and he will get some football for us this season. He's got some of the core attributes I like as well, anticipation and positioning. Let's move on to this season though, where things have gone wild. And wild good and wild bad. Because as well as Fernandes leaving, as well as Frimpong leaving, which we knew about, we've seen one of the youngsters, Simon Duncan, go out on loan. Might have been pushing for the squad this season. Tom Pourtois, the young goalkeeper, who came in last summer, now 27 in fact, not that young at all. He went for 3.2 million, which is a big profit, so fair play to the Director of Football. He sold Killian McCabe to Everton, 19-year-old right winger with bags of potential. But he's gone for, I guess, a pretty hefty fee of 9 million up front. And then further down, as well as all of the loan deals, including the likes of Gafarou Diallo, including Gino Alberti, who featured towards the end of last season, is Ilham Meslier for 50 million. Now, it seems to be a bit of a goalkeeping circus around here, loads in and out every year. We've seen 2 more join the club, including the biggest signing, 98 million. That is a goalkeeper. Now, I'm not complaining about the changes and the upgrades. What I am complaining about is you'll notice the timings of these deals. Fournier, who we'll meet in a minute, came in on the 5th of July. But just before that deal happened, there was offers of £60-65 million from multiple clubs. And the Director of Football rejected them, rather than negotiating to wait until we've signed a replacement. Because he was actively trying to sign Fournier at that point. So in the end, just because of some poor negotiating, which you might say is realistic given Manchester United's recruitment under Murtaugh in real life, they've lost about £15 million there on what they probably should have got. So Meslier, we've lost 20 odd million for him, but we should say, been a really good goalkeeper for us. Couple of seasons, done a great job, but it is an upgrade that we've got instead. And maybe one of those that can edge us towards the Champions League. Now what that does mean, having looked at Lovic, knowing that Fournier's a goalkeeper, and seeing the fees for the other signings we've made, there's no Bruno Fernandes replacement. So we've got 3 free agents, a 500 grand signing, and then Fournier, a top-class keeper. So Michael David is the first. 2-star ability, 3-star potential. Actually, as a free agent, is a very good signing at the age of 20. But I'm not sure where he fits into our plans for the season. That might be a bit more difficult for us. Warwick Lowe comes in from Boys Town and is, I kid you not, atrocious. We've got Zach Halliday for $500,000 from Montreal, who is okay. Probably make a profit on, but isn't going to stand out at any point. Patrick Dudek is the other free agent. He is a goalkeeper, 24 years of age, available on a free. He's all right, but it leaves us with absolutely bucket loads of keepers at the club. Seems to be something in FM22, doesn't it? Goalkeepers being stockpiled by football teams. But the one that we've got to start instead of Meslier, I'm not going to complain about. Because Jerome Fournier, yes, it's a waste of all the budget. Yes, that means we can't get a Bruno Fernandes replacement. 98 million, rising to 120. He is unbelievable. Must be the best keeper in the world. Has been at Dortmund for years. Has been a Portuguese international. Is on 185 grand a week, which is about the same Meslier was on. I mean, just look at him as a sweeper keeper. 20 vision, brilliant passing, phenomenal as a goalkeeper. 6'3", powerful. He's just the best goalkeeper. He's absolutely sensational. What we've got to do, though, is get an outfield team to match it. And if anything, our midfield is now getting weaker. So, delighted with the man that has come in, but we've been downgraded in other areas of the squad for it. And that's where I'm a little bit concerned. So, got to be pleased with that signing. Let me know in the comments what you think of them. But then, let me know what you think of this squad. Because if we look into midfield, and I've had to promote people for this season for it, and I know I've got a few youngsters on the bench from the last friendly, but we've got the likes of Santiago Casal back from another loan. We've got the likes of Fraser McIntyre back from a loan. A Gumby who's never really got into the first team level. And Johnny wants to leave. He's out of contract next year. Has forced his way onto the transfer list. We really are short in midfield. I'm almost hoping Johnny gets a big sale and then we can sign someone. Because otherwise I think we're a bit stuck in the middle. And I really don't know what alternatives we have. Maybe bringing Sancho to the number 10 position. Maybe giving Hannibal a run up there. But we could be a lot stronger. And that I'm worried about. We've then got the ton of wingers because Voloshin's back. Magno Luiz is involved. We've got all the others that were there last year. So unbalanced is the word that's coming to mind with this squad again. And as we head into the start of the season, 3 weeks of the transfer window to go, I think there needs to be a little bit of work. Of course, I'll get your thoughts in the comments. Let me know if you agree. The biggest issue, though, is this. We have got 5 senior goalkeepers left, despite 2 leaving the club. Rhett Nieto still on the loan list, rejected a move away. Kanaya Boyce-Clark is still on the transfer list, and obviously would have been third choice, but Dudek was brought in. And then we've got Van der Voort backing up Fournier again, but I don't want Nieto's development to be stunted by sitting here doing nothing. I'd like to give him a chance, but I can't justify it now because we've got the best keeper in the world. And Van der Voort for 20 million looks like another one that we'll probably make a loss on. So it's another one of those windows. I feel a bit guilty complaining about it because the 2 first team players that have been added are really solid additions. One's world class to start, a big upgrade, which is all we ever asked for. And one's a solid right back to fill the squad, and it brings a bit more youth to it as well. 25-year-old placing a 31-year-old. A 25-year-old in goal replacing a 32-year-old keeper. So we are freshening up the squad, but there's such a gaping hole in midfield. And domestically, I'm not that worried because we know that other sides are going to be weaker. We've seen the Premier League isn't at a great level, but it's not going to get us closer to the Champions League, is it? If we look at the season preview, we are favourites to win the league, just above City and Chelsea. The rest are all miles behind, as they have been in recent years. Let's have a look at what else has been happening, though, in terms of fees. Because I want to see how people are competing with what we've done. So the biggest signing is our keeper. But Milan, who won the Champions League, have lost a key player, a 24-year-old defender, to West Ham. They've also signed a youngster from Sporting, who's a brilliant left winger. So West Ham seem to be making the biggest moves again. I wouldn't be surprised if they become a regular top four club and nick that fourth spot behind City and Chelsea in the next few years. But what about Chelsea and City? They're not really investing. City have got one signing in from West Ham, but he's probably not as strong as the ones they've bought in. And Chelsea aren't even on the top page. So I do feel the Premier League is the weakest I've ever seen it in an FM save. Because it doesn't often drop off. It normally becomes the star of the show. But here, it is playing second, third and fourth fiddle to other leagues in Europe. And I think we're the only ones that have got a chance to fly the flag. When you consider that there's been an Italian, a French and a German champion in the last 3 seasons of the Champions League, it doesn't look good for British football at the moment. We're going to have to be the ones to change that. As we head into the fixtures, it is Manchester City in this year's Community Shield. We're going to very much change our 11 because I had it set for the friendly in midweek. We're going to see how strong we can go and whether Manchester City can give us a better fight than Liverpool did last year. 9-1 for those who don't remember. Well, being the Community Shield final, I've tried to go for a slightly younger bench and take some opportunities there. But I am also going for a tactical experiment today. Because, as we mentioned, we haven't had that replacement in the middle. So let's try and force it ourselves. We've got loads of great wingers at the club. Robbie Thompson is one of those who's been really highly rated for ages. I've just called him Robbie again. Russell, if he's going to be first team, got to remember, Russell bloody Thompson, get it in your head. Russell Thompson is going to go onto the right wing because he's not getting the football his ability deserves. And we've got to give him the opportunity. He's never played for Scotland. What? How can... Only Scotland can produce a player of this quality who's starring for Manchester United and not give him an international cap. I don't understand it. He played 50 times for the 21s. It's not like they're not aware of him. That's the most astonishing thing. And I thought me forgetting his name was going to do the trick. But I've put him out on the right. Yakubu, I'm going to try and get as my replacement number 10. It's a very different player. He's not a playmaker. He's a bulldozer. He's big in the air. He'll score goals from set pieces anyway. And we might even have to tweak the roles and try him as a shadow striker and bits like that. But I'm going to give it a go. We've got Zolis out injured for the long term. We've got another player defensively. I can't remember who out for the long term too. So I'm going to have to leave Sancho on the left for now. But otherwise, it's what you've come to know and expect. We'd normally rotate the keepers for the cup, but I feel I need to get Fournier settled in before the season starts. And the rest of it is pretty strong. So we've got Fournier in goal. Gaia and Pavati, the fullbacks, with Bassone and Inacio centre-half. Jalocca and Amponza in midfield. Thompson, Yakubu and Sancho, the attacking midfield 3. Kylian Mbappe up front. Yes, we have tweaked all the set pieces, so Yakubu is still in the crucial areas. And the bench, probably bar Marcus Rashford, is either young, new, or essential backup players. Because Inacio always gets injured, so Benjamin, probably the only utility man there. Let's go and get into it though. First game of the season. They always switch the order of Jalocca and Amponza. Assistant manager doesn't agree with me on that. But let's go and get into it. 90,000 at Wembley. And surely it'll be a tougher test than last year's Community Shield. Well, here we go. A Manchester derby to kick off the season. Might not be the most explosive one, but I might be proven wrong on that as well. Still Erling Haaland, the man they rely upon up front. That new signing we saw, Mead from West Ham, he is in their midfield. They got Bremner at left back, Ruben Diaz still going, and Karsten Robble becoming a star after his 60 million move in January. Tariq Lamptey still there on the bench. We've made 11 changes from our last friendly, but it's the first team. It's a hard-fought rivalry, and the team talk, hopefully, isn't going to be necessary to get the lads up for this one. The last Community Shield was a doddle. The Premier League against City has largely been a doddle. Well, let's see if it's a bit different today. Can they show some intent under Jurgen Klopp, or is it going to be another easy win? Well, we're back with just under 8 minutes at the clock as City dangerously playing out from the back, playing across their own goal in their defensive third, but it's worked out for them. It comes away to Robble on the right. Gomez finds Anyamwu. Into Ruben Diaz, Luis Fernandes. It's a good switch of play. Monsoy's chasing, but Gaia does really well. Bassone to Inacio. Dodgy 1-2. Lots of liberties being taken at the back, but we're getting away with it. And here's Yakubu dropping deep from that number 10 role. I'm not sure it's going to work out with him playing as a playmaker. We might have to push him up the pitch because that isn't made for him. But Sancho's been released down the left. Not really kicked a ball since about February time due to that injury last season. And he's probably one injury away from being over, as that is absolutely atrocious from City. Gomez with a header. It's straight into the path of Mbappe. And he beats the keeper Keita to it. And similar to last year against Liverpool, we're being gifted goals. Not a great start for the hosts. Or at least the home side in the dressing room, as it's away down the right-hand side. Don't think City will be calling Wembley home anytime soon. It's a new season though. The players are rusty after a pre-season break, and I'm rusty after a transfer window without commentary, as Ruben Diaz switches it up to Gaia on the right, intercepts and finds Bassone, and we start again with a keeper Fournier, who should be really comfortable playing out from the back. He's got that vision, he's got that quality on it. As Jaloka to Mbappe. 33 now, with Rashford 34 supporting him. Are we going to have a struggle this season with a lack of fitness? As Amponza's shot is well saved by Keita. It's a really good move. And that is my worry going forward. We've got a lack of quality and depth in midfield. A lack of youth on the wide areas, which is why I'm going for Thompson, to be honest. And then at the back, we get a few injuries. As Gaia tries to chip it in, and it's going to be a goal kick. Not the best finish to a very good passage of play. And we're straight back with it as City play out again. Seem to be entertaining games, these ones, every year. As Kumbula finds Fernando. Big ball from Keita, but it's straight to Inacio. And already, I'd argue you can see the quality between the two sides. Bassone switches to Sancho on the left. Chance to cross, cuts it back to Jaloka. Sonny Pavati on the underlap, smashes the woodwork. And Fernando just hoofs it away. Haaland gets there, but there's no one up with him. As Mbappe's got a free kick just inside the City half, doesn't find its target, and Mead can bring it away to Haaland. Can City finally produce? 8 shots to 0 in the first quarter of an hour. And City have got to have a threat somewhere. They've still got arguably the best striker in the world in Haaland. And they're just not doing anything with him. No service whatsoever. They're hitting hopeful balls up there as Fournier finds Bassone. He goes back to his keeper, to Inacio. It's very risky football. But the long ball goes up eventually. And Mbappe loses out. It's into the City midfield. Finds Robble. Haaland's with him. He's just got to find the through ball. And he turns backwards. Pavati nicks it. Then he loses it on halfway. What a scrappy spell this is. Haaland, through ball. Robble gets there. And it's our turn to make an absolute hash of things at the back. Jaloka looked like he had it under control. Did brilliantly to track the run. And then just stopped. Fournier got caught in no man's land. Into midfield again, and they are just starting to grow into this. Maybe feeling the confidence of seeing out our best spell and it only being 1-0. Though Yakubu goes wide to Sancho. Can we hit them on the counter? Inside to Jaloka. Got support with him. Finds Yakubu. Lovely turn. Oh, it's sublime. I'll tell you what. He might work as a number 10 after all. Did I say he can't be a playmaker? Well, he's just created his own chance and put it away with a delicate little dink. That's one of the best individual goals you'll see. Half an hour gone, we're deservedly back ahead. And we're back again here, just 1 minute to half time as Inacio plays back to Fournier, just keeping it simple. Pavati releases Sancho's, had a good first half actually. Switches to Russell Thompson, who struggled a bit, but he gets himself in here. It's a great save from the keeper. And that Yakubu move only works if the right winger does well. Maybe it can be Zolis and Sancho when they're both fit, but I'd like to get Thompson playing well. Hasn't started for a while. He's going to take a while to grow into that shirt. But the lads have played really well here. 2-1 up, it should be an awful lot more. Can we take advantage in the second half and make it count? Or will we get pegged back with Monsoy's corner, headed away by Yakubu, who's a big threat in both boxes, and now Russell Thompson can bring it away. There's the pace on the counter. Held up well on the halfway line, and Ponza plays a 1-2 though. It's a brilliant ball out to Thompson. Chance to cross, Mbappe's in the middle. Cross is blocked though, the delivery's not there. And City are able to bring it clear, although they're trying to play out again, and have been caught a few times in this game. Kumbula out to Bremner, the left back. Into Anyamwu. He's been a bit of a star in midfield for them, as Haaland finds Mead, the new signing. Forced wide by Gaia, it's back to Monsoy. Bremner's overlapping, they're playing well here, City. Into Monsoy again, Haaland's in the middle, and it's a poor tackle from Bassone. That's going to be a penalty kick. City will be level, Haaland don't miss these. And against the run of play, we're going to be back on terms again. And City showing signs they can compete. Although they can't score penalties. Haaland smashes the woodwork. And it remains 2-1. We almost assumed it was going to be conceded there. Fournier forces a penalty miss. He'll be pleased enough with that. I think it's time for wholesale changes. Back in a minute when they're done. So this is what we've gone for. Bassone and the two fullbacks both off. Erdogan, Lovic for his debut and Xavier Benjamin on. Agumbi's in the middle for Jaloka, who gave away the first goal with that silly mistake. Yakubu's knackered as always, so Santiago Casal on for him. And then Russell Thompson replaced by Magno Luiz. Both of them fighting for a shirt this season as it stands. Well, weirdly, with a quarter of the game to go, City's expected goals is actually higher now because of the penalty. Oh no! I was celebrating a goal. Lovic, with one of his first touches, gets a booking, then with his second one, scores a goal. But it's ruled out for, I presume, offside. He was just caught at the back post there, as Gomez on the front foot for City. 10 minutes to go. At least this one's competitive as Mead releases Haaland. It's more than competitive. It's all square. Haaland makes amends for his penalty missed 2-2 in the Community Shield. And now we might well be going to penalty kicks, because that is not the best bit of defending. And we have changed this defence a lot. Is it going to come back to haunt us late on? And Ponza finds Casal the sub. Up to Kylian Mbappe on the right-hand side. Had a relatively quiet game, bar the gift that he scored from earlier on. As it's back to Luiz into Casal. He hits the post. Some lovely stuff from United. But I'd argue the 11's on the pitch. Maybe City's are stronger now. As Anyamwu, definitely been the best player on the pitch. Gets it wide to Monsoy on the left. Fournier not had the best debut. We might need some big saves from him here. As Mead plays wide. Monsoy in. Robles there. Straight at Fournier. Good save. But City starting to look very, very good. As we await to see how many minutes stoppage time there'll be. City on the front foot again. 89th minute. Bremner's on the overlap into Erling Haaland. Hits the post. He was offside anyway. But this has not been a good display in the second half, considering the dominance early doors, but we might get away with it as Mbappe's down the right. We're into 4 minutes added on. There's plenty of bodies in the box as Mbappe gets the delivery in. Casal misses out, but Timur Erdogan wins it back. Sancho back to Agumbi and Ponza tries to place it into the corner. Not got anywhere near enough on it. And it's straight through to Keita in a City goal. Can they create one more chance? It's a big ball over. Monsoy straight on the end of it. There's no defending there. Back to Haaland who scores. Lovic and Benjamin did not look good on the right side of that defence there. We're going to demand more for the 2 minutes remaining of stoppage time. But we've fallen to defeat in the Community Shield final. And if Haaland had scored that penalty, you'd argue it's pretty comfortable. As Magno Luiz chips up. But have we lost it? Mbappe's in. Puts it wide from the edge of the box. Had to do better with that. It was the final chance. The whistle goes. And it's a unique feeling with Manchester United. We are going to watch somebody else lift the trophy. Albeit it's not one that really counts. It's still not a good day for this club. 2-1 up at half-time. We've thrown it away. And if that's a sign of the season to come, then City might be a little bit stronger. The difference, I guess, is consistency. So definitely missing that controlling presence in the middle of the park. Definitely missing having that strength in depth. It's Manchester City who win the Community Shield final. Now let's see when we're going to be back. Hopefully, we'll be done a bit better than we did today. Well, with the unusual feeling of our season starting with defeat here, we need a good start to the Premier League season more than ever. We're not going to leave it long before we're back. Tottenham Hotspur and transfer deadline day in a few weeks' time. Can the director of football pull something out the bag in midfield? There is still 141 million remaining. It's got to be said, despite the struggles, because he bought that money back in for Meslier. So maybe he can get a quality player there, but I've not seen any sign of it the whole window. We've got a couple of games in the meantime. It's not that big, huge, difficult start we had last season. And maybe that's more dangerous because there's not that flick of the switch to be right on it from the start. If you're looking forward to seeing how we get on this season, whether City can compete every week rather than just as a one-off, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. Let me know in the comments what on earth you think of the summer transfer work. Of course, the keeper's an upgrade, but we haven't addressed the areas we really need, and this squad is ageing and it's not balanced at all. If you want to stay up to date and find out how the season goes, will we be able to compete in Europe? Will we be dethroned domestically? Or subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on because we will be finding out over the next week or two. Daily FM22 videos from 2 long-term stories with the Hemel save back tomorrow. There's links in the eye above to the football podcast and the Twitch channel for regular content too. And I'll see you again soon as we're back for deadline day at Manchester United.